Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Theravada Buddhism series, Dhamma talk number 83. Buddha's daily routine. Buddha walked day and night for 45 years till his last day and passed away at 80 for the benefit of all beings. He divided his workday into 5 parts. Early to late morning to early afternoon, early evening, late evening, and late night. Buddha got up at the first light before dawn. Probably around 4:30 a.m. in India. After personal hygienic activities, he entered Samapatti. In English, maybe like blessed attainment. After he got up from this Samapatti, he scanned the universe from the furthest region to his dwelling place for beings with sufficient perfection, parami, ready for liberation, or for those who had wished for several lives' time to hear the Buddha's teaching. In person. Buddha would use jhanic power to reach them and teach if the subject were in a distant land. If they were within normal walking range, Buddha would guide them in person during alms round or at an appropriate time and place. I'd like to put a little extra information here. When Buddhas went for alms round, if he picked up his alms bowl, that means he wanted to go alone on the alms round. But if the Buddha accepted the alms bowl from his attendant, other monks could accompany him, go as a group. Okay, as the Buddha has divided into 5 parts, the first part is the first part of the daily routine. Buddha never stayed in the city or villages with the people. He did not stay close to the villages and towns. Always stay at a distance, maybe about 30 to 45 minutes walk to the nearest village or town for alms round. Based on that, it would take around 2 hours to walk to the village, collect the food from the locals, and return to a suitable place with water access for a meal. After collecting the food, he would head back the direction of the monastery, but along the way, he will pick up a spot where there is water and a shade, good enough to have a meal, instead of carrying the whole full bowl to the monastery. And probably it will take about 30 minutes to eat and clean the alms bowl. So, I would venture to guess that the Buddha left for alms round around 8:30 a.m. and completed having a meal around 10:30, 11 a.m. The Buddha took only 1 meal a day. So that would be the first part. Okay, the first part. Of his daily routine. The second part of the daily routine is after the alms round, and have a meal or having an invited meal, Buddha taught Dharma to people and would answer questions. So, the first part of the day completed after having meal. The second part of the day's routine start from there. Taught Dharma to people, answer questions if they have. Other times, Buddha would stay in a common area at the monastery and answer questions to all those who may have. Then he returned to his dwelling around noon. Probably the Buddha has his own meditation hut or a little kuti. Around noon he returned. And the Buddha washed his feet before he entered his building, because the Buddha did not wear any slipper or shoes when he traveled, just barefoot. so he has to wash the dirt and dust off his feet. Often, monks would wash Buddha's feet. And if that's the case, the Buddha would give them salient pointers such as to be heedful, don't waste time, especially if you are with a live Buddha. It is very difficult to be face to face with a living Buddha. Or it is very difficult to have a life of a monk. Or for that matter, even it's very difficult to be born as a human being. And even if one is born as a human being, they may or may not have saddha, faith, confidence, patience, forgiveness. So be heedful, be mindful, be patient, forgive, develop love and kindness, don't waste time. Appropriately, Buddha would instruct the monks while they were washing his feet. Then the Buddha would enter the building to lie down and stretch. But he did not sleep. He did not go to sleep. And then at that time, the people from the city would start coming to the monastery to see the Buddha, to pay respect, to offer flowers, and also to listen to the Dharma talks. Because also the people has finished their first part of the day, eating, doing things, and then they set aside and try to arrive the monastery around 1:30 or so, something like that. Buddha received them in a designated area. It's always in the scripture said it's a round building. So round building is more like a big tent, I guess. A pole right in the middle to lift up. It's a round building. Because of that structure of the building, the Buddha sat in the middle of the tent, facing east. Regardless where he sat, facing east. And the monks, the Sangha, will sit behind him. The audience, lay people sat at the front of the Buddha facing west. So looking at the Buddha facing west. So that is the sitting structure. The Buddha taught Dharma to them, let's say from 2 to 3 p.m. I'm trying to guess and put these hours. In the scripture, it just say early day routine, late day routine, early night routine, midnight routine, and late night routine. That's how it is written in there. I'm trying to put a guesswork and put hours with AMs and PMs so that we can visualize how it looks like. And after teaching, like after 3 p.m., the Buddha would return to his building, most likely to have a bath, have a little bit of a walk, and rest. That's the end of the 2-day routine shifts. Cutoff is having a meal. Before that is the first day job. Second is after the meal, the second day job or routine. Buddha taught people who insulted him or who pay high respect to him with no discriminations. Don't think that everybody is devoted to the Buddha and pay great respect. Just like our lives, the Buddha has also people who doesn't like him, who doesn't pay respect to him, who insulted him. And sometimes there are people who try to assassinate Buddha. So Buddha life is, don't think that it is perfectly in peace. Just like everyone's life. The Buddha did not try to live an extraordinary life with his power. He did not use his power. He simply lived according to the conditions of the world without being affected his mind. So he taught without any discrimination. People who hate him, he taught. People who loves him, he taught. Regardless, whatever Buddha did, people still criticize. Just like nowadays, whatever you do, there's a group of people who likes what you do and praise you. And at the same time, there's another group of people who did not like what you did and criticize and blame at you. Everything is runs based on likes and dislikes, and people spin based on their view and likes. So people still criticize the Buddha because they felt that Buddha put more effort in teaching some people than others. He taught everybody who came to him, but they nitpicking. Oh, Buddha put more effort in this person A. He didn't put much effort in this person B. And they consider it is a favoritism. The Buddha answered these criticisms with a question. Because somebody asked the Buddha, people are saying like that, Buddha, any comment on it, so to speak? Any comment? Just like news media asking questions, but it's the monks. When they hear something, they will come to the Buddha and ask, this is what happened. What's happening? So, the Buddha answered these criticisms with a question. if one has a fertile ground and also another moderately decent ground and a bad patch of land, here's a whole big stretch of land. One part is very fertile, another one is average, the third part is totally bad patch of land. How would one plant on these lands? That's the Buddha's asked the question. That was the answer, basically. A question is the answer. Of course, one exerts great effort to grow high-yielding crops, very useful crops for the people on a fertile ground. And one would put reasonable effort to grow some plants, suitable plants, on a decent fertile ground, just average ground. And on a rough patch of land, we'll throw some seeds, they don't even care, that may survive and grow on the harsh condition. So that's how one would grow and apply effort. Exactly what everybody does, all the farmer does, all the people who are growing vegetable does. Nobody can argue about it. Similarly, the Buddha put forth great effort in teaching people who would greatly benefit from his teaching. And enough effort for people who were not ready for attainment, but receptive of Dharma. People who are still receptive of Dharma, he will put reasonable effort to teach them. Those who were hostile, the Buddha would teach Dharma in brief. Because they are already hostile, regardless how much you put effort, they would not embrace or accept it. So it's just a waste of time and effort. He still would teach people who are hostile. Because if any of the words, Dharma words the Buddha uttered, remained with them, could bear a Dharma seed in the future. If they just remember a word or two, somewhere down the line in future, when the conditions are right, that seed could grow. For that reason, the Buddha still taught people who are hostile and unreceptive to him. Because the result depends on the person who put effort into practicing the Dharma. It doesn't depend on the one who gives. In this case, the Buddha. Buddha still teach. The result would not arise. It is not because of the Buddha. It is the people don't practice, don't put effort. That's a reason. Okay, let's go for the 3 nights routine, zones of routine. Let's use our Western language. Early evening routine. Buddha scanned the world, this time from his immediate vicinity to the farther regions in the early evening, to look for beings deserving of the Dharma for their final liberation. I have explained in detail at the morning scan. And then from, let's say, probably from 6 to 8 p.m., early evening, he would teach and answer questions to the bhikkhus, the monks. In the evening, lay people all went back home and the monks are left, so he paid special attention for the monks. During the day is the lay people. And probably after 8, maybe the Buddha would have a small break. And then Buddha taught the Dharma again to the monks up to, let's say, 10:30 p.m. That is the middle night or the late evening routine. Early evening routine, late evening routine. Afterwards, after, let's say, 10:30, the Buddha would return to his building where he sleeps, and he returned to his building, stretch the body and walk a little bit, just to balance the 4 posture. It needs 4 posture to be balanced: sitting, standing, walking, lying down, to have a proper physical health. And quite often, I don't know whether every night and probably so, from after about 11 a.m. or midnight to 2 a.m., 11 p.m., after 11 p.m., but mostly in the scriptures, it said Deva show up at midnight. So not necessarily they will punch the clock around midnight. It might be a little before. But up to 2 a.m., Buddha taught Devas, Yakhas, Nagas, or Brahmas, whoever came for Dharma, and answer their questions. Devas always avoid coming during the day when the people are there, because it is said the human smell is very foul for them. Just like animal smells are quite foul for the human, our smells it's very foul for the Deva. So they always come at night when nobody's around. And in some cases it's said their brilliance, the lights, light up the whole monastery area. That's how people know, or other monks knew, that Devas are visiting and listening to Dharma from the Buddha, the lights. whichever monks awake might notice those kind of conditions. And Buddha slept from 2 a.m. to 4:30 a.m. So that is the late night shift, the fifth part of the daily routine. During rain retreats, 3 months, full moon day of July to full moon day of October, Buddha could follow the fixed daily routines that we have just discussed, because he just stayed in one place, went for an alms round every day. People came because they already knew what the routine is. That's how the monks and the people also fit themselves in. So Buddha strictly could follow this daily routine during the 3 months of the rain retreat. And of course there are still remaining 9 months when Buddha is always on the road traveling. Still, the Buddha had kept this similar pattern, this routine, with some variations based on the travel time, travel conditions, and engagement with various peoples and personals that he met along the way. He would teach the highs and lows of the classes, meaning rich people, powerful people, kings and queens, also intelligence people, Brahmins, also farmers, poor people, but whoever is receptive to the Dharma, he would teach. That is Buddha's daily routine. I thought it might be quite useful for us to know, because it shows how hard the Buddhist work, not for himself, for the benefits of humanity, from dawn to dusk, dawn to dusk, dawn to 2 a.m. in the early morning, every day for 45 years. May all of you be able to see, feel, and absorb the effort the Buddhas put for us, and may we be able to put as greater effort, a greater effort, so that we may attain path and fruition as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much.